All right, guys, here we go with lesson 4. Make sure that you copy and paste your slides over into your journal. We need to make sure we're keeping up with that because that's going to be for a grade. If you have questions about the journal, then please reach out to me. I don't mind helping you. So on this first page, we have words in math. And as you can see, we just have words listed inside of these that mean addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Turnaround words mean we're going to flip the way we're writing things. And so we'll use these throughout this lesson. So looking at this first problem, we have Tyler researches local plumbers to fix a kitchen water leak in his house. Amazing Plumbers charges $35 per hour each with a $50 initial fee. Tyler wants to figure out how to represent the cost of hiring Amazing Plumbers. So part A tells us we want to write an equation to represent the total cost C for the plumbing company on the number of hours H that they will work. Okay, so I want to go back through this word problem and figure out what is important here. Well, I don't really care that they're fixing the kitchen sink, but I do care that it's going to be $35. So now I want to figure out how do I figure out how much it's going to be based on how many hours are there. So I want to know my total cost based on the number of hours. So we're going to say our total cost is going to be represented by C. And what I know is that they're charging me $35 per hour and they're charging me an initial fee. So initial fee means that no matter what, if they show up at my house, if I'm going to call them to my house, I have to pay them $50, even if they don't stay. Even if they show up and I decide, you know what, I'm just going to fix it myself, I still have to pay them $50 for coming out, okay? So I'm always going to pay them $50 no matter what. So I'm always going to add this 50, or I'm going to add this 50 at the end of my equation. But I need to decide how to write this $35 per hour. Well, we're saying that we're going to use the variable H to represent hours. And I want to say 35 per hour. So that means every time they've been there for an hour, I'm going to pay them $35 more. So we can show that by multiplication. 35H plus 50 equals C. So we're going to pay them $35 times the number of hours they're working plus my $50 initial fee, and that's going to tell me my total cost. Okay, so part B. If the company works a total of 3 hours, what will the total cost be? So I want to know what C is when H equals 3. So instead of writing H, I'm going to go ahead and say 3. So I have 35 times 3. And on your calculators, you do have on your Chromebooks, you have a TI calculator. So I would go ahead and start using that. That is what you're going to need to be able to know how to use for the STAR test. Okay, so 35 times 3 is 105, and I still need to add 50 to that. So 105 plus 50 is 155. So it's my total cost for 3 hours is going to be $155. So part C, after hiring Amazing Plumbers, Tyler's total charge was $225. How many hours did the company work? So C equals 225. That's the total amount he paid. So now I'm going to say 225 equals 35H plus 50. So now my goal is to get H by itself. I want to know how many hours he worked. So I draw my line, subtract 50 from both sides. So 225 minus 50 is 175 equals 35H. To get H by itself, this is multiplication. So to undo multiplication, I need to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 35. And H equals 5. So they worked 5 total hours. Okay, so I want you guys to do numbers 2 and 3, and then I'm going to look at number 4 with you. Okay, so number 4, Joe has a rectangular garden. The length is represented by 2a plus 4, and the width is represented by 4b minus 2. Joe knows the perimeter of the garden will be 500 units. Okay, so the important things here, we have a rectangular garden, length is 2a plus 4, width is 4b minus 2, the total perimeter is 500 units. So write an equation to represent the perimeter in terms of a and b. Simplify the equation. Okay, so we want our perimeter. Perimeter means we're adding up all of our sides, right? So first I'm going to just draw me a tiny little picture here. And I'm going to go ahead and label it. My length is 2a plus 4. My width is 4b minus 2. So that means if the top is 2a plus 4, the bottom is 2a plus 4. If this side is 4b minus 2, then that means the other side is 4b minus 2. And my perimeter, I know that my perimeter is 500 units. Okay, so all of this stuff is what I have just in my word problem. It's all been given to me. But now I want to write an equation that represents my perimeter. So my perimeter means I'm adding up all the sides. So my total perimeter is 500, and that means I'm going to take all 4 of my sides and add them together. So I'm going to say I have 2a plus 4 plus 2a plus 4. Well, that's 2 times 2a plus 4. If I'm adding the same thing twice, that's the same thing as multiplying it by 2. And then I'm going to add 4b minus 2 plus 4b minus 2, which is the same thing as saying 2 times 4b minus 2. Because if I'm adding something twice, I can multiply that by 2. And this told me I need to simplify, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and simplify that. That means I'm going to go ahead and distribute here and here. So 2 times 2a is 4a, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 4b is 8b, and 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. I still have some like terms. I'm going to keep combining. So I have 500 equals 4a plus 8b, and 8 minus 4, believe me, with plus 4. Okay, so this is my equation. I have an a value and a b value, so I can't solve yet. All right, so part B. If the value of a is 4, what is the value of b? So what we're saying is a equals 4. So that means I can take my equation, 500 equals 4. Well, I have 4a, but I'm not writing a, I'm going to write 4 because I know that a is 4, plus 8b plus 4. So that means I have 500 equals 4 times 4 is 16 plus 8b plus 4. Now I can combine my like terms. I have 16 and 4, so that's 20 plus 8b equals 500. So now I'm going to subtract 20 on both sides. And that leaves me with 480 equals 8b. And my last step is to divide by 8, and I have 60. Okay, so I subtracted 20 because my 20 is positive. So to undo addition, I'm going to subtract. And then I divided by 8 because when I have a number next to a variable, that's multiplication. To undo that, I need to divide. Okay, and then 480 divided by 8 gave me 60. So if my b value, or if my a value is equal to 4, my b value is going to be equal to 60.